Hey, if you're watching this, this is my actual March Scrapbin video. I recorded one and then put it up in February. So I'm doing another one here for March. And for this video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to focus on Project Life cards. So I went through my Project Life cards set, and I won't show you, but I have a whole ton of them. And I went and I did a color search. So I have reds and pinks, orange and yellows, greens, blues, purples, and a couple silvers. And what I'm going to do is utilize these to try to make a rainbow on my page. So that's what we're going to do today from a scrap bin process. So hope you guys enjoy it, and hope this shows you a new way you can go through and use your Project Life cards. So I am going to show you just on a couple of them what I plan on doing, and then I'm going to take this away and go do it while I watch TV. I'm going to cut each of these to 2 inches by 4 inches, and then I am going to take my handy dandy fringe scissors. I'm going to fringe about halfway up on all of these, and the idea is I'm going to use that, and I'm going to layer those to make the rainbow. So once again, it's going to be 2 inches. Fringe scissors, and then if you can imagine, it's going to be like this. So you can see a lovely rainbow of fringe. So I will come back when I have all that done. Thanks. So I did take all of these and put them in the in an envelope and take them downstairs, and I cut them while I was watching TV. So it took about 30 minutes just to trim them and then use my fringe scissors. So what I'm doing now is just kind of laying them out in a rainbow order. And I think the interesting thing here is, as you're watching this, you're seeing like I used some really old Project Life cards from like a Becky Higgins kit. I used some of my Allie Edwards new ones that I'm getting in the mail right now. I used cut-aparts that, were Project Life cut-aparts from like a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So all different kinds of things, and I used them solely for their color. Some of them had words, some of them didn't, some are metallic, some are double-sided, and I just ignored whatever was on it or whatever the theme was, and I just went for color only. And I just want to give you that option. And I know we're talking about scraps, but you could have done this with scrap paper also. So if you had scrap paper in different colors, you could have cut strips out of any of the size of scraps and done a similar thing. So just think about kind of different and unique ways to use up kind of your collection. What I'm doing now is I figured out I actually have more than I can fit across the page. So what I'm doing is taking out the duplicates, or the ones that aren't the same color all the way across because they had a title block or something. And here's the part that's going to make some people kind of go crazy. I ended up just, recycling, getting rid of all of the extra. So I really did use all of these cards. And I know I could have maybe saved the other part and done something with it, but, we're trying to get rid of or use our scrap bin. And so this is the part of those cards that I wanted to use. Now in my head, I thought, I want to create a rainbow on the rest of the page with stress oxides. And there's a lot of ways I should have done this, and the way that I did it is not the way you should have done it. I just was kind of lazy. You can tell by the lighting, I did this at night. And I just thought, I'll just smear the ink down the page. Well, let me just tell you, smearing the ink down the page, you can see it just left these horrible lines. My pink actually ended up getting a bunch of the campfire orange on it. And the last color I did, so the pink and orange, you can tell when I blended it together, it blended really well. It gets rid of the lines. But the first couple, because I waited too long to blend them, it didn't blend. So I'm going to spend a lot of time just trying to make this better. It ends up, it gives me the look that I want, but if I were to do this again, and I could have gotten another piece of paper, I just didn't want to waste it, and I felt like at least it had the color. I would have blended directly on the paper instead of using the ink pad. So I would have just put it on a blending brush and done it that way. So that's what I would do if you wanted to have a similar look. So now I am just attaching these, and I'm not going to make you watch that whole process. So here is when we're almost done, and you'll notice I just kind of made it kind of an arc across the page. I decided where I wanted it to go, and here's me just connecting the last few pieces. And it really did turn out adorable. I am super excited how it turned out. The texture on this page is amazing. And you're seeing here, just if you just look at it, it's just the texture. It's really a three-dimensional page. So what I'm doing is I'm going back with all of my different inks that I use, and I'm going back over it to try to get rid of the lines. And I end up being able to get rid of most of the lines. The green lines from the Rustic Wilderness, which is I guess the latest green color, they really kind of stayed with us. I went over it with a chip sapphire to try to get the color kind of out. It helped a little bit, but I'm going to end up putting my picture right there, so it's going to cover up a lot of that, the sins of that kind of thing. But once again, if I had started with doing this, I wouldn't have had those lines. So if you want to do a similar look, don't start with doing the lines down the page. Now, dragging the ink block down the page and putting water and letting it drip, that's a really cool look. It's just not the look that I wanted for this, since I wanted the colors to blend into each other. So here's me trying to actually blend the green in, and it just, partly because it's my newest ink pad, it's very juicy. So the line is just very obvious. It was very distinct, and it just had a lot of ink. So that line is just the boldest, but you'll see the blue into the purple started to look better. The pinks and oranges looked better, and it really did kind of give an overall look to the page that I enjoyed. I did not go above because I kind of wanted it to just be white up there. So when I flipped this over, I almost took this out of the video, but I really wanted you to get a sense of just how many cards I used. So I used all of those Project Life cards, and I've had them forever. They've just been sitting in a container, and this got so many of them used, and in a way that is, to me, unique and interesting, and not just in a Project Life layout. So I really enjoyed how this turned out. I did use the Daydream collection from Coco Vanilla Studios, or maybe it's just Coco Vanilla. I think Michelle from My Little Scrapbook Store may have some of this left, so I will link it below if she does. It was a really great collection. It had a lot of rainbow elements in it, so I decided that I would use the scraps of that. So I had one cut apart sheet left, and then I have a sheet that has some rainbows that I'm going to fussy cut. And just in the same vein of using my scraps. So instead of using any other things, I'm using the scraps from this Daydream. So this is just another part of, that's the other side of that cut apart. And here's why I decide I'm just going to use this rainbow. Now you'll notice the rainbows on here are a little more muted than the rainbows I have in my Project Light card, but it still goes together because it's still the same kind of colors, the pinks, the yellows. And so here's that little scrap I had of paper that just had a few rainbows left. And originally I wasn't going to keep that sheet, and I'm glad I did, because then I got 3 embellishments out of it. So 3 rainbow embellishments that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because I don't have any other like rainbow stickers. So here's me just kind of matting. The other thing I did is there was a sheet of paper that I had cut part of it out, and in the middle of it there was this wreath, and I had already cut part of it. So what I did is I used the middle of the wreath as a white border for my picture. And at this point, I will be honest and say, I had just decided what picture to use. This was more about playing with the paper than it was having a particular, so there's the wreath paper. So I had already used the other side of it for half of something else, and I said, I don't want to waste that wreath because I might cut that out, fussy cut that out and use it on a page, but I could go ahead and use the inside of the wreath as my white border around the picture. So like I said, I didn't have an idea of what picture I was going to use. I just knew I wanted to do this rainbow idea with these Project Life cards. So I just kind of dug through the pictures that I haven't scrapbooked, and I found this cute one of Ploof, our cat, sitting outside the door waiting to come in from the snow. And he was just such a, he was just so happy, and it's interesting. So I just thought the idea of him being a rainbow during this cloudy, snowy day, and just how he looked, kind of went with the theme. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. This is kind of an idea that can go with any kind of picture. It can go with a winter picture, summer picture. So most of my scrapbooking is based on the photo. So I have a photo, and then I use that to decide what paper I'm going to use, what theme I'm going to use, what elements I'm going to use, how the page is going to turn out, sketch wise, if it's a one photo, two photo sketch, those kinds of things. This is an example of where I wanted to play with my paper. I wanted to play with my products, and the photo was secondary. So you can scrapbook both ways. And I really hope that you take this from the scrap bin idea and you use it to just get some of your products out and play with it. I mean, I played with the Distress Oxides, I played with this Cocoa Vanilla collection, and I played with all these papers and my fringe scissors that I haven't used in forever. And I think that's the idea, is just to have fun with it. So I'm just putting on the last little bits of embellishments. I didn't do a whole lot of embellishing here. I used the stickers and the letter stickers that went kind of with this kit. It says snow ploof, snow in blue, and then ploof on the bottom. I will say the L in ploof fell onto the photo and then attached there, so I could not lift it up. So it's a little crooked, but I was okay with that. When I was picking stickers from the sticker pad, I noticed that some of them were almost the exact same colors as my Project Life cards. So I kind of matched the stickers. So I put the blue heart near the blue cards, the pink heart near the pink cards, the little yellow and orange heart by the yellow and orange cards. Kind of matched it, just kind of a tone on tone. And I think that makes the page look more finished. So in a second, you'll just see some close-ups. I think this particular shot really gives you an idea of the texture of this page. It turned out amazing. It's fun to touch. And there's a close-up of kind of the side and finally the full page. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go and look at the other ladies in the scrap bin hop and have a great day. Bye-bye.